Hi guys, and welcome to your weekly horoscope for Monday the 18th of May going through until Sunday the 24th of May 2020. It's a pleasure to be with you today. Thanks for joining me. In this weekly horoscope, I'm going to give you a day-by-day rundown of what's happening this week in terms of the astrology. What I did notice looking at this is that there's a very dreamy, philosophical kind of meta state of mind where you're very abstracted from things and you feel kind of disassociated and you're looking at them from a different perspective, which isn't particularly helpful or constructive, versus this sense of being really blinkered and saying, let's go, let's go, let's go. So it's a week of extremes going from one end to the other. On Monday the 18th, so these readings are for all signs of the zodiac, they're for everyone who watches. Monday the 18th, we've got the moon in Aries. The moon is the luminary in the sky that is lit up by the sun, and it's the mother. It's the most sensitive part of who we are. It's our emotional presence, and that is in Aries. So I'm experiencing it as major anxiety already. Mars is the male principle of drive, desire, masculinity, and it rules the sign of Aries, the ram. So it's like, let's go, let's make it through, let's fight, let's push, let's just put ourselves out there. And for some people, that's going to manifest itself as, great, I can do it, so super confident. For some people like me, by the way, I need to just address my anxiety. Hello, anxiety. Yes, thank you for coming to town. I have to embrace it. It's like the elephant in the room. You may find that I'm sweating, or that I feel a bit shaky, or that my vocal cords are a bit off today. I really feel anxiety. So if you also have anxiety, please see this as proof that you can do stuff despite your anxiety. And for yourself, that anxiety isn't the end of the world. Even if you're anxious and you don't come across the way you want, so perfectionism, it doesn't matter. And it's about surrendering and accepting that that kind of energy isn't for everyone. So some of you will find that, okay, it's all systems go on Monday. Some of you will feel like, okay, I'm being pushed into an area I'm not comfortable with, but we certainly have movement. The moon conjuncts Chiron in Aries, the wounded healer, also in the sign of the ram. So them sitting together immediately invokes pain, fear, because Chiron is the wounded healer. They then sextile the communication planet Mercury, which is in the sign that it rules, Gemini. So Mercury is very happy in the communicative, talkative, chatty sign of Gemini, because it's able to explore new things. So the moon and Chiron are both in Aries, so the element of fire, and Mercury is in air, Gemini. Air and fire are both masculine, so it's a really kind of full-on day. And when it comes to thinking, the way you communicate, the way you make decisions, the mind games you play, all of those are really full on. So your presence of mind is immense. And if anything, take it down a notch instead of building yourself up. There's lots of uncertainty and you're really sensitive to the energy that's floating around on Monday. So you're in your head. Don't hurt yourself by being inactive and letting your head do a number on you. Instead, take your power back and get going. Because the moon in Aries is going to give you a guilt trip if you're inactive today. So even if you have the day off, or even if you've deliberately decided to take Monday the 18th off, it's a really good opportunity to explore new places. But ideally, the best way to use Monday is to ask yourself, how can I connect with another human being in an authentic way? When you ask yourself that and do that, that's when you know you're on the right track. So doors of opportunity can open between you and someone you don't know, or you and someone you've known for a long time, but you've never gone to that part of your relationship before. So there's lots of room for improvement here on Monday the 18th. Tuesday the 19th, Moon is still in Aries. It now squares Saturn in Aquarius. So the Moon in Aries says, okay, you've got petrol in your tank, let's go drive. Saturn in Aquarius says, but what about the greater good? So me versus the greater good. Jupiter, the good luck planet, is in Capricorn, saying whack, whack, whack. And Pluto is in Capricorn. The transformation planet says you can be reborn if you work. And you can get this sense of the new and the, oh my goodness, infinite potential. So Tuesday, you're really in luck, okay? The ideas that will form in your mind on Tuesday, the 19th, have the potential to make you financially independent regardless of the circumstances you're in now. And those ideas are going to particularly descend on those people who are willing to do the legwork. If you're just going to sit on the couch on Tuesday and not go anywhere, then obviously you're not thinking along the lines of what's new, what can I contribute, what can I make more effective. You're just kind of closing down. So it's about a state of mind, and it's really amped up. Like I said, fire and air, it's like this huge blaze. So you get the financial payoff on Tuesday if you're willing to actually make changes practically in your life. Remember that Venus is in retrograde. Venus is the planet love, beauty, new businesses, what it is you care about. And while that's in retrograde, it's not such a great idea to get into new relationships or new businesses or anything that you really just love, because during the retrograde, it will look different than it does when the love planet goes direct. And relationships and jobs and businesses and institutions that are formed during a Venus retrograde are often really shaky. So on this day, you're able to see where you can contribute something to that. You can contribute something useful to something that already exists in your life, or you're able to tweak it. So instead of working in the school as a teaching assistant, you decide you become a teacher, if that's the idea. That's better than being a school teacher and saying, all right, what I really think is going to pay off now is if I just, I don't know, start to print these plastic sunglasses and I'm going to make a fortune. I'm just going to really be irresponsible. You wouldn't think like that, because it would be like, oh, these plastic glasses are a great idea. You'd only notice that it was irresponsible a month later, because you see the actual income, which is negative, and then you're like, maybe I shouldn't have done that. So be careful with outlandish and really exciting ideas that really hook you and you're like, I have to do this. It's my dream. It's been my dream for the last 2 hours already. I have to do something about this. If you get swept up in something like that, first of all, be really careful and only use the day to tweak and make changes to something that exists already. If it's a whole new relationship or if it's a whole new situation, if at all possible, delay it to another time. Because what you care about and what you're doing for money, it's a little bit fuzzy on Tuesday. Ultimately, by being practical, Monday, Tuesday, that's how you win, and not letting yourself get not circling the drain when it comes to your thoughts and just washing machine round and round and round and round. Wednesday, the 20th of May, we've got the moon going into Taurus at 2:12 a.m. So the moon in Taurus gives you a greater sense of, I can sit down and I can enjoy the beautiful things around me, and I can actually control these elements in my life. I have my power back. Everything that needs to be is under my control. I'm in charge, I'm the boss. It's like, I'm home. It's interesting because Venus, the love planet, rules Taurus, the bull, and it rules Libra, and it's being drawn to my attention because Venus is in retrograde. So the moon in Taurus is really going to bring you back into your body, into work, into getting down on the ground, getting your legs on the ground. The sun goes into Gemini at 1:50 in the afternoon, so happy birthday to the Geminis for the next month. The moon in Taurus sits on top of Uranus in Taurus, the planet of the unexpected and miraculous. So it's a kind of contradiction. You feel secure within the things that are out of your control as such. It's a strange feeling. Venus in Gemini is very communicative and wants to articulate and get involved with everything. That squares Neptune in Pisces. So dreams and delusions are possible and things can get out of hand. So there's the real potential in a good way for a financial shakeup, or your living situation, or travel plans that you may have, or physical health if you want to detox, or if you want to do something different about the way you live or you are. Today you have a reprieve from the confusion that's been around for the first 3 days of the week here. And the certainty you get is via your feelings. So please, Wednesday, use the opportunity to meditate, because you'll find it easy to connect to the underlying truth of who you are, and you're not swept away in this chaos of faulty thinking. You're just able to come back to yourself and say, this is what I live for. This is what gives me a sense of control. This is what gives me a sense of power, luxury, sense of ease and comfort, and freedom. Imagine that. Imagine if you had total freedom. You could do and live and be wherever you wanted to be. So you could just switch bodies or just teleport yourself to another country. You know, if things like that if we weren't limited by our physical selves, in an ideal world, who and what and where would you be? And rather than making things more chaotic, you get to the absolute certainty and truth of things, and it's simple. It's not something you can explain, it's something that you feel. So if you've never meditated before, Wednesday the 20th, try it. Thursday the 21st of May, the Taurus moon forms a trine with Pluto in Capricorn. A trine is a harmonious, positive relationship. And the moon in Taurus is about maintaining the status quo and being solid and stable. Pluto is the opposite. It's about the phoenix rising from the ashes and making things happen through your own work and through your own practical, contribution. And it sextiles Neptune in Pisces, which is the water planet, in the sign of the fish, and that's when it's most intuitive and imaginative. And this combo on Thursday, the 21st, will be a day of life and death, in the sense that when it comes to your finances and business dealings and any practical ideas that you want to turn into big doings, more so than usual, expect to see some changes in the practical areas of your life. And I would play it safe. I wouldn't throw around money and invest hugely and just do things that aren't thought out and that are off the cuff, just spur of the moment. I always say that, life rewards people who take a risk. There's a difference between taking an informed risk and deliberately plunging into the abyss. So on Thursday, I would play it safe. I would, especially any opportunities in work and money that seem too good to be true, or in your daily routine or your body. This diet will get you thin in 30 days, or get rich by working from home. Like those schemes where people just promise something and then don't deliver anything. When it comes to your roots, financial, physical, and otherwise, don't mess with those on Thursday. It's not a good day to take risks in that area of life. On Friday the 22nd of May, we have the moon going into Gemini at 1:37 in the afternoon. The moon in Gemini is really ready to engage, it's communicative, it's curious, it looks at the good side of things. It's about renewal. And that's really the entire week. It's about taking that idealized notion of yourself and what you could be and the potential, and rather than being meta and resigned about it, it's about renewing yourself in a practical sense, so either in your body or through your work. The new moon happens at 5:40 in the afternoon. That's when the sun and the moon sit together. The moon is pitch black and it pulls loads of energy in. I will make a separate video on the new moon in Gemini just to give you an idea of what that entails. But the Gemini moon conjuncts the sun in Gemini, and those are both luminaries, so the things that energize us and give us life. That is 1111. It's a vibration that is all about new beginnings and really being that phoenix rising from the ashes and transforming yourself into a new beginning and embodying that new beginning and being about, like embodying this attitude of there is the future and it is glorious. And just knowing that. So on Friday, a door opens into a new future of your choosing. It's a very self-aware week. A lot of people are going to see drastic financial changes. We may see changes in the stock market on Thursday, Friday. But I think things will be, on a personal basis, it's for the better. Ideas of how can I actualize myself in a practical, physical way. So ideas that will actually work and can be implemented. There's a sense of being on the threshold towards something new, and that can be scary. So it's not a sense of the old, no, it's new. And with the new, there's uncertainty and faulty beliefs. I'm not enough. I'm not going to be able to transform along with this. I'm not going to make it. So you have freedom from those really negative thoughts by being so abstracted from them, and you can really see them for what they are, and you're very self-aware. So you don't get hooked in by your own negative thinking. So unless you're really holding on for dear life on Friday the 22nd, just expect new opportunities to come your way and for you to be able to pick and say, oh, actually, yep, I'll do that. Or I'm going to paint the bedroom, or whatever it may be. But you have options. On Saturday the 23rd, we have the moon still in Gemini, and that conjuncts Venus in Gemini, so it sits on top of the love planet in retrograde, so it appears to be going backwards. The moon also sextiles Chiron in Aries, so it forms a harmonious relationship with the wounded healer. And it says, what are you doing, Neptune in Pisces, via a square, causing friction between the two. So I look at the positives, or if situations are negative, I look at how we can use that negative and transform it into something that will work. Because what are the options? We always go forward. Every day we move forward, whether you're on board or not. Everything is pointed in that direction, and this week it's coming through like a truck. It's like, move forward with your life, progress, change. You are good enough. You have what it takes in you. That's the big message. However, any new relationship on Saturday the 23rd that you start, either in business or a romantic, amazing, out-of-the-blue relationship, is really likely to fail. Because this day isn't about love, it's about power, really. It's about I love and want, therefore I will. So it's me, me, me. And when you're in me, me, me mode, you can't love anyone else. You can take other people hostage, but you can't fall in love with them. And I don't say things like this lightly, okay? If there's even like the slightest potential for love, I'm like, oh yeah, you can use that to build something. But seriously, please, if the right guy or the right girl or whatever, the one you've been dreaming of for 27 years, he finally appears in your life today, be so careful. Because this day, the 23rd of May, is like the epitome of a Venus retrograde. You only see what you want to see, rose-tinted spectacles. You're attracted to things that fundamentally wound you and are not good for you. And yeah, you go for all the things that ultimately you know aren't going to nourish you spiritually. But they seem really attractive today. On the flip side of that, if you're someone who struggles with denial, like denial is a really useful tool that we have. Like for instance, let's say my windows are dirty. I will say, I refuse to accept this reality. I am in denial. I see my windows as crystal clear, and I get a bucket from the kitchen and I start scrubbing away. Denial can be useful for making reality the way we want it to be. And if you struggle to use denial as a powerful tool in your arsenal, you're going to realize it's not just a river in Egypt today. It's very meta. You're very able to see your own little foibles here on Saturday and say, I'm totally deluded in that area, and that's really good because I'm protecting myself from that, and that's the payoff I get. Knowing that, everything falls apart and I can start over. We get ourselves into these, let's say you start a new job with the sense that you're just coming out of a period where you've really been broke and you have had nothing, and you get this job as a dishwasher and you're super grateful for the money that you get, and you're able to rent a place and have a roof over your head. Someone else could be coming at that job and say, oh my goodness, I used to be the head of this giant company and now I'm washing dishes. It's the same job, it's just two completely different perspectives on the same thing. And those come and go like the wind. And you can't base decisions on those kind of things. Again, the thing that will save you on Friday and Saturday is going deeper than that and really asking yourself, how do I feel? Would I be happy to talk to another person about this and be upbeat? And is it useful? Am I moving forward? Finally, on Sunday the 24th, we have the moon going into Cancer at 11:10 in the evening, so at the very, very end of the week here. The moon in Cancer is particularly happy because it's the sign that it rules. And the moon in Cancer is you're able to pamper yourself and other people, and it's a sense of being home within yourself, which you certainly haven't had at all in the week because you've been so abstracted from yourself. And sometimes you've got to leave home to be able to come back and see what you've got. It's really interesting week, and I think a lot of you guys will also feel like, wow, I'm thinking myself into a bit of a corner here. Go to the emotional, deeper part of that, especially here at the weekend. Mars is in Pisces at the end of the week, which Mars despises. It's in Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac. It rules the first sign of the zodiac. So Mars is like sitting in the lake saying, okay, what's going on here? It sextiles Uranus in Taurus, chaos in a practical sense. Mercury, the communication planet, is in Gemini, so that's super powerful communication. And it quincunxes the Firebird, Pluto, in Capricorn. So the week ends as it began. You have the presence of mind to think about your future in a practical and nurturing way. What does your ideal future look like? Do you want to retire at 30? Do you want to be signed off sick? Do you want to look a certain way? Again, you're very much in your head and thinking about the I, self, me-ism. But you now have the practical knowledge of what you ought to do to move forward and what needs to be left behind. So it's a week of recognizance and really taking grounded action to discover what works for you and what doesn't, so that by Sunday the 24th, Monday the 25th, you're in a place where you're more informed about the future you want to have. So imagine an iceberg, okay? You've got the little tip at the top and then you've got this huge thing underneath. So what's happening, let's say that's in a glass, okay? It's a giant ice block with some water. You drink all the water, the ice block is completely exposed. That's what you're doing this week. You're exposing everything that's underneath emotionally. It's like peeling back the layers of an onion, and you're able to get to your own truth, which is huge. So it's complicated, but ideally by Sunday you really have clarity of mind and you have the distance to say, okay, this would be a good decision, this wouldn't be, and I feel informed. If you don't have that sense of I am informed and I'm doing something, then don't let yourself be suckered into any new venture, any new relationship. Don't just say, oh yeah, I'll come along on Sunday. No, it's got to be about you and taking control of your life. Because the penny drops and you're really able to make wonderful, great decisions that will have a huge impact on your life moving forward in a genuine way. So it's not a week where, oh, you're just wasting it. And no, it's really being able to get somewhere within yourself that's practical and that's applicable. And that means, hey, I have value and I can add that to the world so that my life looks more valuable. And I think if that isn't a positive way forward, or if that isn't a positive avenue, then I don't know what is. So that's what I get for you this week. I hope that gives you an idea of what you're working with. If you'd like a personal reading with me, then please get in touch via the website. It's gregoryscott.com. If you click on the shop tab or on the front page, it says book your reading. If you click on that, you'll get to the shop section, and I've got a 25% discount on at the moment for all priority and emergency readings. So if you want to speak to me sooner rather than later, and if you want some guidance on all this information, because you may feel really grounded and great at the moment. Personally, like I'm talking about me now, I feel the energy is really like, ooh, it's very unsettling and it's a lot to digest mentally, and it's making me feel like, okay, I need to go forward and push myself harder and actually do something. So if you get that same kind of, you're kind of whipping yourself on, be nice to yourself and realize that you're doing the best you can, and okay, yes, but don't allow yourself to grind yourself into the ground today. If you know what I mean. Don't be more compassionate and say, okay, I'm trying my best, I'm grinding away at trying to find all these things, but I'm just treading water. If you get to that stage, that's where I can look at your chart and draw up your natal chart. It looks something like this. This is a chart of the new moon. I'm going to do a video on this in a second. But it's a snapshot of the sky at the moment you were born. So we've got the place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. When I have those three details from you, I draw up a chart like this. It tells me everything about you, your life purpose, what your vocational aptitudes are, strengths and weaknesses, where the ego tries to sabotage you. I can put the progress charts and the transiting chart around this birth chart to see what's coming up for you in future. So if you want to know where the best place is to live, I use astrocartography for that, or what's coming up in your working life, are you going to move, what's likely to happen in your love life, finances, children, any questions at all, it's all very clear in your chart. So get in touch via the website to look at the discount and then order your reading on there. So get in touch with me. If you like the video, then please hit subscribe and share the video online. Again, excuse my anxiety, but I've got to work with what I've got. And this is what I've got. And I'm not giving myself a hard time about it. And neither should you. Even though I want to, but I'm not. And I hope you have a lovely week. I think I should stop there. Stop while I'm behind. Have a great week. Mwah. Lots of kisses to you, and I'll speak to you next week.